it would appear so far on my quest to win a VW scholarship, all I've done is gone out on jolly days out. So that's it. No more jollies. I've been to racetracks, watched BTCC, I watched the VW Racing Cup. No more jolly days out. I'm going to get down to the serious business of trying to win this scholarship. Now, fortunate for me, when I did meet Matt Neal, he had some sage words of advice. So I've got 9 months to prepare to potentially win a drive. What would be my best way of preparing between now and then?
Experience is the key. It's the key that unlocks the door. Any tracks you're going to go to, learn the corners, where the curbs are, turning in points. You can just get a good feel for it. There's great sims like iZone at Silverstone. There's a lot of them around now, and they're very good. I don't use them myself, obviously, because I'm going around these things all I'm blue in the face anyway. But they are very good. You know, I've got 2 sons, and that's a route I was going to steer them because it's cost effective.
But he wasn't the only one to recommend a simulator.
Do a little simulator practice as well, get yourself on project cars or iRacing or something like that. Simply Race, funnily enough, in Milton Keynes, they're one of my sponsors. You could head down there and have a go, and you know, you just get yourself familiarised with the car.
Wasn't that nice of Michael Epps to invite me to go to Milton Keynes to race him on a simulator? That's what he said. Don't rewind it. That's what he said. So I turn up to this place in Milton Keynes and I cannot believe it. Not only have they got a race car in the foyer, but they've got 15 simulators which each have 3 40-inch screens, headphones with 7.1 surround sound, bass shakers in the seats, Thrustmaster force feedback steering wheels. But what does this all mean? I'll tell you what it means. Every single time I sat in the seat I looked for a seatbelt, and every time I got out I was covered in sweat. I was having so much fun, I almost forgot why I was there. I was there to race Michael Epps, and luckily for me, he turned up. It seemed rude to just jump straight in the simulator and teach him a thing or two about driving, so first of all, I thought it'd be nice to have a little chat. So I'm here with the best touring car driver in the world. That's true, right?
Maybe.
How long have you been racing sims?
Well, actually driving on simulators probably, I've been since I was a kid really, if you think about, Jesus, Toka 3, PlayStation 2, so that's technically a sim in a way. Some of the racing on there was pretty realistic actually for a PlayStation game. So.
Yeah, my first was Gran Turismo on PlayStation 1.
Yep.
Now we've all told a little white lie from time to time to impress a new friend, but that one I cannot let slide. Let me explain. This is Toka 3, Michael Epps' first experience of a simulator.
Power to weight ratio, phenomenal. I'll show you one. It's got a 6-speed ultra close ratio gearbox. The gear lever's right up by the steering wheel. It's great fun.
And this is my first experience of a simulator.
Prepare to qualify.
I've played this game enough that I know that before anything exciting happens, I've got enough time to tell you that the sequel to this game, Pole Position 2, was the first game to ever feature a force feedback steering wheel. Strap in, here comes a corner. Oh well. Before he noticed, I decided to distract him with a question, and I asked him why he uses Simply Race.
For me, it was a great thing to do in the off-season because they held a championship in the off-season with a few of my friends I work with in the instructing world, and just generally I met a lot of new people as well that are also in motorsport in their own ways. So it's useful in that it gives you something to scratch the itch, but at the same time you can use it to kind of familiarise yourself with the track before a race weekend. I mean, at Brands at the start of this year, I was just thrown in, free practice 1, first time in the car. Everything was just so new. All just coming in, I've got so many new things to do on the system settings, and that takes your brain off of the actual job at hand, which is to get the best out of the car on track. And that's, I think, where simulation should sit, if you ask me. It should be a kind of preparation technique to get the kind of swing of your sessions out of the way, so you're just ready for it, and then you can get out and get on it.
Just dealing with what you're facing at the track rather than the track itself.
You should just make it as close to being the same thing, but with G-force, basically.
While we're on the subject of G-force, I wanted to ask him if he felt the same as me, because every time I use a simulator, it feels like the corners are way too slow.
Yeah, I think it would, because there are some elements that are just missing from the sim experience. G-force is one of them. There's no way you can replicate G-force. It's still purely synthetic. It's not real, is it? So it's never going to feel quite right. Yeah. So you are driving numb from that aspect. You've taken away one of your senses. So if you rely on that sense a lot when you're out in a real life race car, then you're going to struggle on a simulator. I do quite a lot of visual stuff. I look at where things are in the windscreen, if you like. You notice angle changes and different things, because sometimes if your power steering's not quite right, something like that, but you can't necessarily use that as well, so you just use your vision, and you almost correct things before they happen sometimes. So simulation's really up to my visual senses, if you like, on the real racetrack.
So there are clearly differences between a simulator and a real racetrack, so I wanted to find out how he found the limit on a real racetrack.
It takes a lot just to push the car to its limit, actually, for quite a few of us, especially if you've got your dad in the paddock thinking, how much is this going to cost, and you got everything you built up to be there could all be thrown into tatters by one big crash. Yeah. So you work your way up to your limit and you find it. Whereas on a sim, you can pretty much find it straight away, because you just press the restart button and carry on. Reset.
And you've not ruined anyone's weekend, and you don't owe anyone any money.
Exactly, yeah. You haven't got a family that probably want to disown you.
We're going to have a race in a minute, and I fully expect to lose, but I don't want to lose by that much.
One lap or two?
So any advice?
Well, you're on a simulator, so I think use your eyes and use the senses you've got for when you're racing on a simulator, and try and get into your own rhythm and do your own race, if you like, because at the same time, whilst I might be quicker, if you're focusing on me, then you're not focusing on your lap. Just put in your laps. Don't look at the cars ahead of you. Just look at where you're going and what you're doing. Focus on getting your laps, as best as they can be.
So we've come up with a plan. We're going to race around Brands Hatch Indy, because that's where the scholarship's going to take place, and I'm going to get a 15-second head start, because during practice my fastest time was 2 seconds slower than his fastest time, so over the course of 7 laps, 15 seconds seemed about fair.
Then I've got to count to 15 at my own speed. Yeah,
you've got to count to 15 on the clock.
What's it from versus? So the lights will come on once the time is counted down. So ready? Here you go. Once they go up. There you go.
Oh, bad start.
That was slow. That was worse than me. 6, 7.
Oh no! 2, this is awful!
You got already. I've started.
Not a great start, and as I'm sure you can hear, Simply Race is a great place to have a birthday party. Now, I'd love to sit here and tell you that I was distracted by the kids singing, but the fact is, those headphones are so good that not only could I not hear Michael, I couldn't hear them singing either. The truth of the matter is that despite getting some great advice to concentrate on my race and not his, the second those lights went out, I panicked. He's coming! He's coming! He's going to get me. So let's rejoin the action as I desperately try to get the car on the black stuff. The kids continue to massacre Happy Birthday, and Michael reduces my head start to nothing. I can't believe I can't even find the gears. This is a disaster.
Come on. push you into turn.
It's already... Oh, rubbish racing already.
Throttle on, throttle on.
This is not great. I do just want to say that due to those headphones, I didn't hear him saying throttle on, throttle on. So that recovery, that was all me. I mean, the fact that I messed up the corner in the first place, that was all me too. But, you know, I'm just saying.
That's it, I'm making a fence now.
That's it, he's got it off.
Oh, I've run wide though.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was that. After one lap, a total disaster. It was gone. Disappeared. I don't think it couldn't have been that bad, Kev. I'll tell you how bad it was, right? Here's something you need to know about Michael Epps. Not only is he a fantastic racing driver, but Michael Epps is also a fully qualified barista. Now, why is this relevant? I'll tell you why this is relevant. Thanks to a lot of this.
Oh.
And a little bit of this.
Just do you this way.
He found himself with enough time to stop the car, to get up. Without my knowledge, I couldn't hear him, remember. I didn't even see him get up. He got up, walked across to the coffee machine, made himself a flat white and sat back down again and had a nice little cup of coffee. And look at his little face. Watch his little face when he realises he's got away with it. While I'm spinning all over the place.
You might even win.
You might even win. Yeah, sure.
Here he goes. Welcome to touring cars.
Steward's inquiry, surely that's points on his licence. So after that little bit of light contact, he lets me past again.
Final lap. Let's see what defence you've got.
Any questions at all? Excellent stuff. Nice half an hour race. Yeah, there's no pressure. You go just did. Why's that? That's it, you're on this time.
He's there.
Oh, this is only going to way.
Do exactly what you did last time.
Afraid that's that.
Hello. Press the button.
Oopsie. I think we crashed. So there you go, beaten pretty conclusively by Michael Epps. I mean, worse things have happened, but the long and short of it is, if I'm to get anywhere near winning this scholarship, I have got a mountain to climb. But hey, if climbing that mountain turns out to be a fraction of the fun that I had at Simply Race, this is going to be a blast. Bring it on! I went out to the shops and I spent £230 on a steering wheel.